Welcome everybody, Double Tap here, and today I bring you guys the Ultimate Prison Architect Tutorial Part 4. If you guys do like this content, don't forget to hit that like button, and please do hit that subscribe button, as only 5.5% of my watch time actually comes from subscribers, so that means 94% plus of the time that's being watched on here doesn't even actually come from my own subscribers, so please do hit that subscribe button as it helps grow this channel if you're enjoying this content. I'm not going to waste any more of your guys' time. Let's get right into things. Alright, so for those of you who've been following the series, I've been alluding a little bit to what the overall plans are here. We have the yard now squeezed down to about a square size instead of that huge rectangle size we had before the previous episode. And now I want to start wrapping our building around that said yard that we have now created. So in order to do that, we're going to have to create a new fence line here, which is exactly what you see me doing. I'm going to go ahead and start laying out this new fence so that we can go ahead and delete some of these previous fence lines that are here that are going to be blocking our future building that we're going to be building in this episode. So I'm gonna just go ahead and add 2 staff doors on both sides wrapping around. That way the staff still has access to get in there for any building or demolishing that we need in the future here. So something that I just want to point out here, the reason why I'm planning on continuing the expansion of our prison in this episode is I'm just figuring we're gonna kill off some of these grants all at the same time. The reason I'm saying that is because, as you can see, the reform through education is still continuing on in the background as students or prisoners are going to school and getting educated. So that's happening in the background. Our Find the 10 Illegal Narcotics is also going to be getting completed as things go on here. You'll notice that guards do start finding some inmates with drugs, so that's good. So the real only grant that we have full control of here is the cell block C, which means we need to raise our prisoners to a capacity of 100. So that's what we're going to focus on right now because that's the one we can control. So you guys know the drill. I'm going to go ahead now that we have this fence line getting finished by our workers in the background. We're going to use the oh so handy planning tool. As you guys know, we don't build anything without planning first, for this exact reason right here. I'm forgetting that these cells are supposed to be butted up, so we're going to go ahead and cancel that and start butting them up against these cells for this first row of new cells that are going to be in the new edition of our prison. So this is why you use the planning tool right there. Perfect example. We always want to make sure that we're pre-planning everything out so that we're not wasting any money in the long haul. So we're going to go ahead and make another double row of cells here. And then we have a general idea of how large we want our new edition of this building. So this is going to be likely the last cells that I make for low to medium security prisoners. The fact is, I'm likely going to be accepting some more minimum security and just a few more medium for this new edition. And then after that, we're going to start building a little bit tighter of cells, and it's going to start switching up the way it looks a little bit just for the more max security. They're not going to be as luxurious or large of cells because, as some of you have pointed out in the comments, these are some luxurious cells. These aren't bad. And that's why I'm gonna leave these for the medium to minimum security, and that way I don't feel that, you know, it's being wasted on a bunch of hardened criminals. So very similar to the previous episode, I'm just gonna go ahead and double click on these lights and drag them down one row. That way I'm going to be able to build over top where they are right now and go ahead and delete the fence line that's behind them, because as you can see, that fence line is where our new building is going to be placed. So I'm going to go ahead and just squeeze these lights down, same as we did previous episodes, so that we have a little extra space. Go ahead and let our workers get to that. Beautiful. Gonna go ahead and draw in our new fence line there. Let our workers build that up before we go ahead and start destroying the other side of the fence and we'll do that from the exterior. That way there's no leaks. Even though there's no actual prisoners in our yard right now, we still want to make sure that there's no security leaks while we're building, because we don't want any escapes. That's bad. And yes, these prisoners are actively trying to escape all the time, so if it doesn't seem that way, good job. Give yourself a pat on the back. That means you're doing this job properly, and you're building out your prison with really good security. So that's the goal. You don't want to see these guys getting away with the escape, because it does penalize you the game, and plus, I mean, that's just no fun. We're building this prison to keep them in, not let them escape. So there we go. I'm going to go ahead and start deleting out that exterior fence line now, where our new building is going to be, and now we have an empty plot of land to continue our expansion of our prison here. So you guys know the drill. Going to go ahead and select building. We're using concrete as always, and we're going to drag from the exterior of the wall out to how large we need our building. And you guys know exactly why already. Just a quick reminder, the reason we draw from the exterior is so that we're not deleting the existing wall there. And as you can see, because we have the fence line going along the exterior, our workers can take advantage of accessing those exterior areas where our inmates are not going to be able to access. So it works out nicely. We're not going to have too many risks of breaches or escapes here. So that's good news. The way we have this prison set up is pretty nice, and so far so good. It's allowing our workers to, for the most part, not have to interact inside of the prison too much. It allows them to do their job on the outside without being bothered, so that's good news. All right, and building is built up. You know the drill. It says required entrance, so we're just going to go ahead and delete out some of the previous walls there and connect it to the already established prison, and then we will see that message disappear. So go ahead and delete out these chunks of walls, and there you go. It'll automatically finish off as a room, and once that's done, it will allow me to draw this concrete wall and fix that up. And the same thing along the top line, and that's just because the fence line was there. So go ahead and add in those concrete walls, make it look as it should. When you see me pressing the reports right there, I'm just checking our overall reports, making sure that everything's going fine. You can see in that report the money you have incoming, the money you have outgoing, and you can also see whether people have been escaping or anything along those lines. So it is worth just checking in on that here and there to make sure everything's running smoothly, especially when you have a lot going on like this, where there's a lot of building and things happening. Same as last episode, we're gonna go ahead and save as much money as we can here, and we're gonna just draw in the walls right now that I know aren't going to be having any doors placed along them, because as we did last episode, we're gonna put the doors in first, allow them to take up that chunk of plot that the wall would, and then it's gonna save us $50 per door on waste of concrete. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna just lay down the concrete we know has no doors, and then we're gonna do our doors. Flip it around 3 times so that it's facing the way that we want, and start placing those doors in. Go ahead and continue to place these in. I know you guys have been mentioning the quick build in the comments and stuff. Call me old school. I've been playing this game since it originally came out, so I do things manually here. I hope it doesn't bother you guys too much. I will start to try to get used to some of these new functions there and see what that's all about, though, because I do want to introduce new features of the game that are in it, so I don't want to be completely ignorant. So I will get on it and start playing with it outside of this, and then come back in and show you guys what it's all about afterwards. But for now, I don't mind doing things manually. It's the way I've always played this game. And here I am going to go ahead and just do the lock open trick here, because I know last episode I thought if we just drew out cells once we had walls that it would automatically open the doors if it wasn't occupied, but that doesn't seem to be the case. So I was speaking out of turn last time, so I am going to just go ahead and lock open these doors so that our workers can get to work as soon as I start bringing in all the major necessities, and we're not going to have to worry about our guards wasting their time, so our guards can actually focus on inmates, which is a good thing. Although if you just peek in the top right in that cell, that empty cell, there's a guard just pacing back and forth thinking about his life and how he ended up here. I don't know what that guard is doing. Anyways, now that we have these doors locked open, we can go ahead and start drawing in the remainder of the walls. As you'll see here, those little red squares. As you see here, those little red squares as I draw down those walls represent where the door actually is. So it's just showing us that they're not going to be putting in concrete there because there's currently a door taking its place. So that's the little trick that's saving us money. It's saving us $50 per door. So hey, we'll save that money, especially when we're building out as many cells as we are right now. That all adds up and pretty quickly. Continue drawing these in. Had a little brain fart here. I'm realizing, oh yeah, I just have to right click on this game to cancel. There is no other cancel button. That's from playing a bunch of these games, guys. It happens, okay? Forget which one you're playing sometimes, looking for the cancel button. Let's just right click on this game. Luckily, really easy. It's not a double tap video if I don't have at least one brain fart per video, though. You guys know this. Come on now. All right, starting to look like we actually have cells built up here. So we have electricity, and now the other utility that we need to take care of course, is water. So you guys know the drill. We're going to take the large pipes, run those through our exterior walls and down the centers so that we can connect our small pipes for our utilities. And as you can see, this is why I locked open the doors, because we have so many cells here. You can only imagine how much of a waste of work it would be to have a guard come every single time and unlock one of these doors, because these workers are going to need to be getting in these cells quite a bit because they can only carry so much. So go ahead, get these all built out, and that grant of being able to hold a capacity of 100 inmates is going to be checked off, so that's good news. You guys know the drill of what go in these cells. We're going to have a bed, we're going to have drain, shower, and of course a toilet. Go ahead and start popping these beds in. I did contemplate setting bunk beds here, as I have heard some of you guys mention in the past, but fear not, once my money is a little bit better situated here and we have a larger prison, what I can always do is come back in here and start adding in bunk beds and then just removing the previous bed, and then we'll effectively have altered it and switched it into a bunk bed. And you could do that as inmates are rolling out too. So if an inmate is about to get released, once his cell is empty, instead of refilling it right away, we can just at that point make a quick switch of the bed, and it automatically turns it into a 2-man cell at that point. So just because I'm placing single beds here for now doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be single beds in there forever. So nothing's permanent per se, so we can always make changes later on in the game if we feel that's necessary. And again, this is just for medium to low security prisoners. Our high security prison cells are going to be a little bit different, and it will likely be in a separate part. So we may have a few different housing units essentially depending on security. So this original building that we're building is just for medium to low security, hence the plush cells and why everything looks so nice. Staying organized, we have our drains and our shower heads getting installed currently, so we're going to go ahead and queue up our toilets. And you can see that our workers are so busy, there's still literally utilities that haven't even been placed yet. So again, this is why the door is being locked open. As much of a pain in the ass it can be to just go ahead and have to click each one of them, it saves a lot of work in the end. And I mean, you just have to go through again and click it, so it's not a big deal. That's just me canceling the planning that I've done there. It's no longer required, seeing as the planning is now a reality. So go ahead and remove any planning that's unnecessary. We're gonna now start labeling out these actual individual cells there. Click and drag over them all. You guys know the drill. Nice and simple. All our low security inmates are currently on yard, as you can see. That is the handiness of splitting up the routine. You'll notice there our medium security are now coming to have their yard turn. So this is why rotating schedules, it basically cuts down on half the amount of prisoners that are doing things if you split it up evenly. So it definitely is useful manipulating your schedule. Make sure that you guys do that and that you have these prisoners on separate schedules, and it will lower the risk of things going wrong. Currently 97% done to raise your prisoner capacity to 199 now. So as they're finishing building those up, we're about to get the grant as soon as they finish one more, and then we have access to more money, which is all great news, and our money's going to keep flowing. That's what we want to see. I'm going to go ahead and start placing in some metal detectors now too. We're going to set the most important metal detectors down now where our reception is for intake. Of course, if anybody's coming in, we want them going through a metal detector instantly. And then we want one right in the front of our main cell block. That way, if anybody does manage to get something on the prison yard, they have to go through those metal detectors, and we will be flagged if they are walking through there with anything that's metal. So that is important. Two very, very key places to set your metal detectors, especially for the beginning. The longer the game goes, we're going to be placing down more in separate areas as well, but for the meantime, those are likely the most important places that you want them, because that's where the most amount of traffic for your prisoners is going to be happening. So it's a logical thing. Go ahead and connect these to some electricity, both of them on both sides. Beautiful. let our workers handle that situation. You'll see as soon as they connect to the power grid, they will turn on and we have access to some extra security. And it's unmanned security in the sense of it's not going to be required that our guards are doing the searching for it, so that's handy. And now the annoying job of going back and taking off the lock open tool, because the next thing we do essentially is start allowing more prisoners in, because we're already making a profit of $2,131 per day, so that's good news. But we're only housing 40 inmates when we have the capacity to hold 108. So you guys can imagine that our income is going to at least double with the math. So we should be seeing an income of about $5,000, $4,500 as soon as we start actually bringing in some more inmates. Granted, we are going to have to increase our security and purchase some more guards, which also they end up charging $100 per day, so it will cut into our actual money a little bit, but overall we are going to at least see our money double in the next episode here. So that is great news. We're going to actually start seeing everything that we've been working on in these past few episodes come to life, and these cells are going to actually start getting populated out. So then it's time to start at that point looking into the future. But before we start building out, I do want to start allowing more and more prisoners in and start filling this prison up. So I am going to go ahead and increase our total prisoners to 60. I am going to likely drop down the medium security just a little bit, get more minimum security, try and balance things out a little bit. And just keep in mind, the reason why I didn't just go right away and say put the limit on 108, I want to slowly bring them in. So 20 prisoners a day is ideal. So I'll bring in 20 tomorrow, 20 the next day, so on and so forth, and we will get this prison filled out. I am going to start hiring a few more guards now and just get prepared for what's about to happen. May have to add more as things go, but hey, for now at least we placed a few down, so if we happen to forget or whatever, once new inmates come in, at least I've compensated for it already a little bit ahead of time. So yeah, you will notice here that some of the patrols I have don't make any sense anymore. That's because these were the patrols I had previous to expanding out on our prison. So I am glad that I went ahead and started adding in new patrols here, because it allowed me to clear up some wasted patrols here. So make sure you're editing your patrols like I just did right there as you go through your game, because sometimes patrols that made sense previously don't make sense anymore, as this one I just deleted again there. So I'm gonna go ahead and start adding in some new patrols so that our guards have access to our prisoners directly, and I know that there's always at least a guard nearby if anything is happening. So now it's just a matter of assigning some guards there, so we will end up doing that here. I'm choosing the wrong deployment tab here. I'm choosing deployment instead of patrols, but I've set specific patrols now, so we are going to go ahead and assign guards to these specific patrols, and there we go. And then the rest of the guards are still available for other things that are happening, so fear not, everything's going to end up working out okay. This prison is about to get a lot busier very, very soon. There'll be a lot going on by next episode, guys. It's exciting, because for the last few episodes we've just been putting in that work of getting this larger and getting it prepared, but now it's time to fill it up before we start making any other expansions. Gonna go ahead and add some metal detectors in there just in case there was any potential of them getting anything on the yard. And also we will do the same thing in our canteen area for the same reasons, just in case they manage to get anything like a fork or something outside of that canteen. And what I'm going to do here is what I told you guys previous episode. I am going to go ahead and place another jail door there and delete that fence line out so that our new prison area and our new prisoners will have access to the yard without having to run all the way around. Go ahead and delete those. And guys, I actually think this is the perfect place to end this tutorial. We've got a huge expansion built on, we have more prisoners on the way, and we will for the following days. So without any further ado, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have, don't forget to hit that like button, leave a comment down below, and most importantly, please do subscribe to your boy, because we're trying to build this channel up. So without any further ado, guys, this is Double Tap out.